Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we are going to solve day 2 problem of this month on LeetCode. Before starting, if you guys haven't subscribed my YouTube channel yet, then please go ahead and subscribe it. Now without any delay, let's get started with today's problem. Problem number 3100. Voters 2. So let's read the problem statement. You are given two integers, num voters and num exchange, right? So num voters represents the number of full voters that you initially have, right? And in one operation you can perform one of the following operations: drink any number of full water bottles, turning them into empty bottles, right? And then exchange empty bottles with one full water bottle, and then we have to increase the num exchange value by 1, right? Okay, so here after this, let's see. So note that you can exchange multiple batches of empty bottles for the same value of num exchange. For example, if num bottles is equal to 3 and num exchange is equal to 1, you cannot exchange 3 empty water bottles for 3 full bottles, right? So we have to return the maximum number of water bottles you can drink. All right, so let's understand this with an example here. So see this example number 1. So here num bottles is equal to 13 we have, and num exchange value is 6, right? Okay, so now here initially you have 13 full bottles, right? Empty bottles initially is 0, right? And num exchange value initially is 6, right? And you haven't really drink any water yet, right? So bottles drunk is 0, right? So we are going to use these variables as well in our code. I'm going to create one empty bottles variable, and I'm going to set the value to 0 for this one. And I'm going to create one variable full bottles, and in full bottles I'm just going to pass the value of this num bottles initially 13, and I'm also going to create one variable bottles drunk, right? So initially this value is nothing but 0, right? And num exchange value we already have this. Okay, so I'm going to create these three new variables, right? So empty bottles 0 initially, bottles drunk 0, and full bottles 13, right? This is done. Now after that, what I'm going to do here, if you see, in empty bottles, right, I'm assigning the complete count of these full bottles. I'm going to drink all these bottles, right? So if I'm going to drink all these bottles, then my bottles drunk count is going to become 13, right? Clear? So I'm going to drink all the water from all these 13 bottles. So bottles drunk value is going to become 13. Num exchange is still 6, right? And my empty bottles is now 13, right? This is done. Empty bottles is 13. Num exchange is still 6, and my bottles drunk is 13. Okay, this is done. So this initial stage, then we drink 13 bottles. Now after that, if you see here, empty bottles is nothing but 13, and num exchange value is 6 as of now. Okay, so now here what I'm doing here, see, in the empty bottles, right? So 13, and if I subtract 6 from it, then what is the value that I'm going to get? I'm going to get nothing but 7, right? So from this num exchange value, which is nothing but 6, right, I am going to get one full water bottle, right? So here I'm going to get one full water bottle, right? I'm consuming these 6, right? 6 empty bottles. Using these 6 empty bottles, I'm going to get one full bottle, and the remaining is nothing but 7. So 7 I'm writing here. Clear? Done, right? And now here in the problem statement is saying that my num exchange value is going to be incremented by 1 if I do this exchange. So here from 6 I'm going to get 7. Done, right? Okay, so this is done. Now here if you see, notice one more thing, still my empty bottles, right, this empty bottle values, empty bottles value, it is still greater than equal to the num exchange value here, right? Is greater than equal to this num exchange value, right? That simply means that I can also use these empty bottles to get one more full water bottle, right? So if I do that, so 7 is the num exchange value, 7 is the num exchange value, and empty bottles is nothing but 7. So I'm going to do 7 minus 7, that is nothing but 0 left, empty bottles, and I'm going to get one more bottle. So here 1 plus 1, it is going to become 2 here. Done, clear? And now num exchange is going to be incremented here again, right? It is going to become 8. This is done. So now here we have 2 full bottles as of now, right? So now we have 2 full bottles, right? So we are going to just drink the water from these bottles as well, right? So if I drink the water from these bottles, so now the bottles drunk count is going to become it was 13 previously, right? Initially we have 13, now we have again 2, right? So it is going to become 15, right? And if I drink the water, so it is going to become 0, right? And here empty bottles are 2 and my num exchange value is 8, right? So now at this particular stage we can't exchange, right? Because my empty bottles count is not greater than equal to the num exchange count, right? So we can't do anything. So now we have to stop. So in the end, what is the count here? Bottles drunk, that is nothing but 15. So we have to return this 15 only, right? So this approach one that I'm showing here is very simple. So here just see this table. Okay, let's see this example number 2 now. So I'm going to write the code here side by side. Okay, so here initially I told you that I have to create few variables. So let's say int empty bottles, right? Empty bottles, right? And this value is nothing but 0. And after that the full bottles, whatever they are saying in the problem statement, I'm going to do the same thing, right? Same step by step. I'm not like whatever here it is mentioned, right? And whatever is given here, the variables, I'm going to do the same thing. Just see now. So full bottles initially, here we are getting 10. 10 is nothing but the num bottles value, right? So here I'm writing num bottles, done. And after that bottles drunk, so here they are showing bottle drunk, so I'm going to create this variable as well for simplicity. Bottles bottles drunk, all right? And this value is 0 initially, right? Now after that what I'm doing here, I'm going to run one while loop, and in while loop I'm going to tell that while my full bottles is not equal to 0, this. So right now full bottles count is 10, right? So here I'm writing while full bottles is greater than 0, right? So until then what I need to do, I have to first this, I have to drink all the full bottles. So here we have 10, so here bottles drunk is going to become 10. I have to make it 0, right? So bottles drunk, right? So here I'm writing drink all full bottles, right? So here I'm just going to operate bottles drunk value as bottles drunk plus full bottles, right? This is done. And empty bottles, it is 0 now in the initial stage. Now I'm drinking 10 bottles, so here it count is coming as 10. 10 is nothing but this full bottles count, right? So empty bottles, I'm also going to write empty bottles is nothing but empty bottles plus full bottles, right? So this is your this stage, right? This stage I'm writing here. And now full bottles is going to become 0, right? If I'm incrementing the count of empty bottles and bottle drunks, now full bottles count is going to become 0. So here I'm writing full bottles is equal to 0, right? So same thing I'm doing right here, whatever they have shown here, right? Until now it's clear, right? Now we have to exchange the empty bottles for full bottles, right? Exchange empty bottles for full bottles. So how this stage is happening, how we are doing this empty bottles for full bottles, how we are exchanging them. So it's also very simple, right? So here I told you this condition, right? While my empty bottles is greater than equal to num exchange, right? My empty bottles, this value is greater than the num exchange value, right? This one. So until then we have to do this, right? So here see 7 is greater than 4, we are doing this, we reach here 3 and 5. Now this is not there, right? 3 is not greater than equal to 5, then we have stopped, then we are moving to next stage, drink 2 bottles one, right? So here I have to again run one while loop while my this empty bottles, right, is greater than equal to num exchange, right? So here I'm writing empty bottles is greater than equal to num exchange value, right? Then in that case what is happening, right? So here if you see 10 is greater than equal to 3, then what is happening? So here we are getting 1. So 1 is nothing but full bottles, right? Full bottles count is incrementing by 1, right? So here I'm writing full bottles count is incrementing by 1. So I will do plus, right? This is one thing. And if I'm doing this exchange, right, then this num exchange value is also incrementing by 1. So here I'm writing num exchange plus also, right? And if I'm doing all this, then this empty bottles, it is getting reduced here by 10 minus 3, right? 10 is nothing but empty bottles minus num exchange. So here empty bottles I have to update, right? Empty bottles is equal to empty bottles minus num exchange. That's it. And that's it. Okay, this is what I have to do, right? And here my while loop ends, and here I'm just going to simply return bottles drunk, right? So now here see what is happening. So initially this is the case, right? Your full bottles is greater than 10, right? So you are incrementing this bottles drunks to 10, num exchange, yeah, this will remain same as it is, right? This empty bottle is going to become here 10, right? And full bottle is set to 0, right? Now this condition is we are executing empty bottle is greater than equal to num exchange, right? So in that case, empty bottle first I'm reducing it to 7 here, right? And full bottles it's going to become 1, right? And num exchange value is incremented 4, right? Now again, if you see empty bottles, that is nothing but 7 is greater than equal to 4. So again, empty bottles I'm going to update here with 3, and full bottles become 2, and num exchange is going to become 5. This is done. Now I will not execute this empty bottles greater than equal to num exchange, right? Because 3 is not greater than equal to 5. So in that case, I go here, line number 7, right? So here see full bottles value is 2, which is greater than 0. So again I enter here. So now bottles drunk value, it is going to be incremented by full bottles. So previous it was 10. So now here I will add 2, so it is going to become 12 here. And empty bottles, in empty bottles I'm just adding full bottles, it is going to become 5, and my full bottles is going to become 0, right? This is done. So again I am going to line number 15, right? And here empty bottles is greater than equal to num exchange. That simply means that empty bottle is going to become 0, full bottle incrementing by 1, and num exchange is going to become 6. Done. And then after that, again, if you see my empty bottles is not greater than equal to num exchange, so I again go back here, full bottles, right? Line number 7. So full bottles, right, as of now it is 1, right? So 1 is greater than 0, true. So bottles trunk, it is going to be incremented by 1. Empty bottles is going to be incremented by 1, right? This line number 10. And full bottles I'm going to set it to 0. And now again, if you run while empty bottles is greater than equal to num exchange, so this is false. So line number 15 is false. So I again come here 7. So again here in the last step, full bottles is 0, not greater than 0. I come out of this. So in the end, bottles drunk is 13. That's it. This is my output, right? So this is nothing but the debugging of this code, how this works, right? Very simple. Let's run it. So see, all the test cases has been accepted, right? Now let's submit it. So see, our solution is accepted, right? So this is the approach 1. Approach 2 is also going to be very simple here. So in approach 2, what we can do, we can solve this problem using for loop as well, right? So in for loop, so here initially, if you see, let's see this example number 2 only. So my num bottles value is 10, right? So in the answer, I'm going to add this 10 as of now, right? 10 is my answer, right? From 10 I'm going to start. So now here after this, if you see now, so empty bottles as of now is 10, right? So this is done. So here empty bottles is 10, right? And my empty bottle is 10, right? And my num exchange value is 3 as of now. Okay, so here I'm just going to run one for loop. So I'm going to write for int empty value, right? It is nothing but number of bottles that I have, okay, and that is nothing but 10, right, as of now. And my empty value, right, empty value, it should be greater than equal to my num exchange value, right? Num exchange value, okay. And I'm going to say here, instead of empty plus plus, which we normally do, I will just do num exchange plus plus, because only this value is incrementing, right? So I'm going to run this loop here, okay. So here let's understand. So here initially the total number of empty bottles is nothing but 10, right? 10 is the number of empty bottles, right? So empty value is greater than the num exchange value, right? Initially this, and empty is greater than this, okay. So now in this case, what I'm going to do, instead of here writing exchange as 1, I'm simply going to increment the value of this answer, right? So empty bottles, that is nothing but 10, is greater than equal to 3, right? So in that case, my answer, I'm just going to update it with 1. So 10 plus 1, it is going to become 11, right? And my new empty value, right? So it is going to be nothing but you are going to write it as num exchange minus 1, that is nothing but num, here you are going to update it. Let me write num exchange minus 1 empty value as empty value minus this. So empty is nothing but initially it is 10, so 10 minus num exchange is 3 minus 1, that is nothing but 10 minus 2 is nothing but 8. So I'm going to treat now this time this 8 as this complete, I'm just going to treat it as empty bottles, right? 8, and I have already consumed this. The 8 is number of empty bottles, and I have already consumed, so that is why my answer, I'm just going to update it to 11 here, 11, okay. So this is what I'm doing here, right? So okay, this is done. Now after that, what we need to do, let's understand it somewhere here. Now 10 and 3 we have, okay. So let's see here. So 10 is the number of bottles and 3 are the empty, right? 3 are the empty, okay. So initially my answer I'm going to take it as 10, right? So now here I'm just going to run one loop. So here empty value is 10, right? This value 10 is greater than equal to 3. That simply means I'm just going to increment the answer by 1, right? Answer by 1, it is going to become 11, and in the next stage my total number of empty bottles is going to become 8, right? 8 is nothing but 8, because of this full bottle, this one I have already consumed here, so that is why this bottle is going to become empty, and in total I have total 8 empty bottles. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so 8, and now in this case I'm already incrementing the value of num exchange side by side, right? So this is going to become 4. So now again, this, if you see, 8 is greater than equal to 4, right? True. So again my answer value is going to become 12, right? And my new value that is going to come here this side is nothing but 8 is the empty bottle, number of empty bottles, minus number of here empty bottles is nothing but empty bottles minus num exchange. Num exchange value is nothing but 4 minus 1. So 4 minus 1, why I'm doing minus 1? Because here in the answer I have already drink this one bottle, right? I already consumed it, so I'm going to get one less bottle here. So 4 minus 1, 3. I have to do this less 1, right? So that I get 5 empty bottles, right? I have to show it 5, not 4. Okay, so that is the reason. So 5, and here this is going to become 5, right? So now this is again true, so here this is going to become 13, and then after that, if it is going to become 13, then number of empty bottles now we have, how many empty bottles we have? So empty bottles we have now is nothing but empty bottles minus num exchange minus 1, the formula that I've shown, right? So empty is nothing but 5, and 5 minus 1, 4, 1 and 1. So 1, and here this is nothing but 6, so this is not going to execute now. That's it. So output is 13. Okay, so when I'm going to write the code, then you guys will get a better understanding. But just one important point here, that empty bottles is 10, 3. So when this condition is satisfied, so I'm just going to increment here 11 instead of here showing it as exchange, right? So I am going to use that. I've already consumed it, and here I'm going to show one extra value. That's what I'm doing. So this is very simple code, just a few lines of this one. So let's write the code for this one. Okay, so let me just reset. So here in this, what you need to do, int answer is nothing but num bottles, and here you have to start with all the bottles you drink initially, right? So here let me add the comment as well. Start with all the bottles you drink initially. All right, and then after that you have to simply run one loop, int empty is equal to num of bottles, and empty value, it should be greater than equal to the num exchange, right? This is what we are doing, num exchange. And here num exchange value, right? Spelling mistake. Here I'm just incrementing the num exchange after every loop, right? So num exchange plus plus, right? So here we have to do increment in answer. So here what we are doing, you drink one more bottle from exchange. So here you drink one more bottle from exchange, right? And after that your empty value, and I'm going to show it as empty is equal to empty minus num exchange, right? Num exchange, and in empty you have to show one higher value. So num exchange, I will just do -1 here. Reason, you already know that we have already consumed that bottle. In answer I've updated, so that bottle also become empty, right? So here let me add the comment as well. So spent num exchange, so this is what you have spent, right, to get the empty bottle. So you have to got one full water bottle back, right? One full bottle which you have already added in the answer, one full bottle back, right? And this is nothing but the net value of this, right? And you can say net loss of this num exchange -1 empties, right? So that is why we are doing it. Done. And here in the end you have to simply return answer. That's it. So this is your approach 2. Okay, this is your approach 2. Let's run it and see the code issues, and let's submit it. So see, our solution is empty, right? So this is nothing but your approach 2. There is one more way to solve this problem in just of one time complexity. Let's say n is nothing but your number of bottles, and k value is nothing but your num exchange. Let's say num exchange value, right? This is Clear? So what you are doing, so n is nothing but number of bottles, initial bottles full, you drink them all, right? This is nothing but that one. And exchange, here the first exchange cost k empty bottles, so let's say k value, right? So after each exchange the price increases by 1, right? Num exchange value is increasing by 1. So what we want to know, we want to know that how many total bottles we can drink counting both the initial n and the bottles obtained by the exchanging empties, right? So this is what we want to know, right? Okay, so this is clear, right? Empty this n, and then how many bottles we are going to get after exchanging, right? So initial n and the bottles obtained by exchanging the empties, right? So this is done. So now after that, here, so what happens during one exchange? To get one more full bottle, you must pay k plus I number of empties on the ith exchange, right? So to get one more full bottle, right? Full bottle, so you have to pay what? K plus I time, I is nothing but first time it is 0, then you have to increment this value, right? 1. So num exchange value is incrementing, right? K plus I, let's say empties, this is the cost empties on the ith exchange, ith exchange. So I hope that this line is clear. So to get one more full bottle, you must pay k plus I empties on the ith exchange, right? So when you are going to drink that bottle, you are going to get back plus 1 empty bottle, right? So the total net empties consumed is, you can say, net value of this consumed is nothing but, you can say it as k plus I, right? This is what you are spending, right? And you are going to get 1 back, right? So minus 1, right? So to get one more full bottle, right, you are going to spend k plus I empties on the ith exchange, right? But when you drink that bottle, you are going to get back plus 1, right? So you are going to get back plus 1 bottle, right? Plus 1, you're going to get back plus 1 empty, right? So net empties consumed is, this is nothing but net empties, net empty. Okay, let me write it like this. Net empties consumed is nothing but k plus I, and you are going to get back. So this is nothing but net empties consumed. So here you can write it like this: k plus I minus 1, right? This is done. So this is done. Now after that, so after, let's say you are doing total t exchanges, t number of exchanges, right? So here you are just doing t number of exchanges. So here you are going to write summation of t value, let's say starting from 0. So here I have to write t minus 1, right? Because I'm starting from 0. So you are saying here, let's take total number, t number of exchanges, right? So here k plus I minus 1. So here I'm just going to count the t number of exchanges, what is the value that you are going to get here. So here, if you further solve it, so you are going to get something like this. So this k and 1 is constant, right? So here I'm going to write it like this. So t value, right, whatever the t value that I have, so in this k minus 1, right? Done. And here I value is changing every time. So here t is equal to 0 to t minus 1, and here I value, right? These two things are changing, right? Clear? K minus 1 is constant, right? And depends on the t, whatever the t you are going to get this, right? You are doing the summation of some constant t times, right? X plus x. So that is why just you are just writing this like this here. I hope this is clear why I'm writing like this: t and k minus 1. All right, and this I values are every time changing. So here you are just writing this is nothing but I is equal to 0. I starting from 0 to t minus 1. I starting from 0 to t minus 1. This I. Okay, this is done. And here you know the summation of first n numbers, right? Uh, First n numbers 1 plus 2 plus 3 is nothing but you write it like this now: n plus 1 divided by 2. So here total numbers is 3, right? Total first n natural numbers 3. So you are going to write it like this: 3 into 3 plus 1 4 divided by 2 is nothing but 6. And if you do the count here, 3 plus 2 5, and 1 plus 1 6. So this is right, right? This is what you already know. So same way here we have numbers starting from 0 to t minus 1, right? T minus 1, right? So here in place of n, just put t, t minus 1, t minus 1, and here t minus 1 plus 1, and here 2. So this is the total summation you are going to get: t minus 1, right? And here t value and divided by 2. So here this value I can say simply nothing but tk minus 1 plus t minus 1 divided by 2, right? This is done. Here this is nothing but your s of t value, right? This is done, right? Now here if you see, you start with n empties first, right? So this, what is this s of t first? S of t is nothing but total net empties spent after t exchanges, right? Then after that you start with n empties from the first n bottles you drank. So you can't consume more empties than you have, right? So this s of t value is always going to be less than equal to n value, right? Because you can't consume more than that total n bottles, right? So this is what you have to do. So and then you have to place this equation here, that is nothing but tk minus 1 plus t minus 1 divided by 2. This value should be less than equal to n. So now you have to solve this 2, right? So 2 and here tk minus 1 like this, and here plus t minus 1, and here you take your this complete 2 here. So this is going to become like look like this, something like this, right? So this you can also write it like this, 2t k minus 1 plus t minus 1, and you bring this 2 into this side. So minus 2n I am going to write here, and this value should be less than equal to 0, right? This is done. So now if you further solve it, so what you are going to get here, so you are going to get let's solve this part first. So this is nothing but this part, okay? So 2t k minus 1, and here plus t square minus t, right, minus 2n less than equal to 0, right? And here you can also write it like this, t square I'm writing first here, t square plus this 2t I'm solving this as well, 2tk minus 2t minus t minus 2n less than equal to 0, and here t square plus this 2t minus t is nothing but t only, right? So t, let's bring it outside, 2k minus here no minus 2t and minus t na, so it is nothing but minus 3t overall, right? Okay, so here 2k minus 3 I can write, and here t like this, and minus 2n, right? So much mathematics. So that is why this approach is not actually good. So this is what you are going to get. And now if you see, this is nothing but a quadratic equation, right? So in quadratic equation, how we find out the positive root. So this is a quadratic inequality in t terms, right? So the maximum value number of exchanges t is the positive root of the equation, right? So what is going to the output for this one, how we solve this? So for this one there is one formula, right? Minus b plus minus under root of 4ac divided by 2, if you remember this. So this is something we used in mathematics, right? So here this we need positive, right? So definitely I'm not going to use this, right? Okay, the maximum value number of exchanges t is the positive root of the equation, right? So I'm just going to get the value of this t is nothing but number of exchanges, right? So here I'm just going to write minus b. So this is nothing but your b, this is nothing but your c, and this is nothing but your a. A is nothing but 1 here right now. Okay, b is nothing but this 2k minus 3, and this is your c, right? So let's apply this. So minus b is nothing but 2k minus 3, so I'm going to write 2k minus 3. Okay, and plus now here root, and here 4, right? 4 into c. C is nothing but 4 a first. Let's write this a. 4a is nothing but this 1 only, right? And c is nothing but 2k minus 3, right? Okay, and I think this is like this, b square minus 4ac. Inside this also b square minus 4ac. Okay, so let's change it. So here b square is nothing but 2k minus 3 square, and minus here this is nothing but b square minus 4ac. Okay, right? And here minus 4a is 1 and c is minus 2, so it is going to become plus 8, and here n, right, minus 2n. This complete value we have to put. Okay, and divided by 2a. A is nothing but 1, so that's it. So this is the equation, right? So much mathematics here in this approach one. So you are going to get the values of this a, b, and c, and then you just apply this formula. Okay, so this is nothing but number of exchanges. So you are going to get some value, so you are just going to do the seed on this value so that you get an upper value, and in the output you are going to subtract 1, right? So 8 minus 2 number of exchange bottles you have, so you are going to treat this as 9, but actually it should be 8 only, right? So later on I will subtract. So let's write the code. Okay, right? So not a good approach, I'm again saying. Okay, so but this is going to solve this problem in of one time complexity. Okay, all right. So here let me just reset this. All right, so here int exchanges value is nothing but 0, right? And the quadratic equation that we have found, quadratic equation, right, form is nothing but t power 2. Okay, let me just go here, t power 2 plus 2k minus 3. So here t power 2 is nothing but plus this 2k minus 3 t and minus 2n is equal to 0, right? This is the quadratic equation that we have formed, right? Okay, this is done, right? So now here my a value is nothing but, if you notice, 1, right? My b value is nothing but capital B, let's say 2 into k is nothing but the num exchange value, right? Minus 3, right? This is my b value, and my c value is nothing but you can say 2 into uh, number of bottles, and it's nothing but bottles, right? And here this is a negative, right? So minus, right, this. Okay, so this is my c, right? Now I have to just simply solve for maximum possible exchanges, right? So here solve for maximum possible exchanges. So I'm going to get this t value, right? So how I'm going to get this t value is nothing but exchanges, right? Exchanges. So here I'm just going to write int, okay, and here math.ceil I'm doing here, okay, and inside this we have to just pass the formula. The formula is nothing but minus b, so that is why I've written b here, plus then we are doing the math.square root of, and here long, right? I'm writing long because we can get very big values if I'm doing the p square, right? So b into b, done. And then minus 4 and long l into a into c, right? This is what I'm doing here, and I have to divide this with 2.0, okay, 2a, right? 2 into a value is nothing but 1 only. So this is the formula, right, that I've told you. So we are going to get something here. Then in the end, the total bottles drunk is equal to initial bottles plus exchanges minus 1. That's it, okay. And then we have to just return nothing but num bottles plus the exchanges, and we are doing the serial of, so just 2 minus 1, right? So let's run it now and let's see. So there is some issue, so let's fix this, right? Okay, so exchanges is nothing but int math.ceil of minus this one, okay, minus b plus math.square root of this long, and I'm taking b into b, minus 4l into a into c, and I'm just dividing by 2.0 into a. That's it. I think it's correct now. That was missing. Let's see. So see, all the test cases has been accepted, right? Now let's submit it. So see, our solution is accepted, right? So for this one, see, we are just calculating a, b, c value, and we are just doing this and this. That's it. All one time pressed, right? But not a good approach. I'm still preferring approach 1 and approach 2 over this one. Okay, so I hope that you guys are clear with all these 3 approaches, and if you guys still have any doubts, then please feel free to ask in the comment section. Till then, keep coding and keep practicing. Meet you in the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.